Hi everybody, it's Tony. I'm back with another video, and today it is Thursday, November 10th, and if you've watched yesterday's video, you'll be glad to know that I'm not as frustrated about my situation right now. What I'm going through is very common, it's very normal, and I wouldn't be as stressed out about it if I wasn't watching the scale as much. So I decided this morning, even though I wanted to, there was a part of me that was like, okay, I gotta get up and weigh myself. I was like, no, I'm not gonna weigh myself. I'm gonna stop doing that every single day. But these stalls can be normal, especially as you go from stage to stage. So you go from a liquid stage to a pureed stage and a soft food stage, and as you go from stage to stage, it's very different for your body. Your body's going to have to learn how to handle things. When you get out of surgery, you're probably going to have a tremendous drop, and that's going to excite you. You're going to be happy, and you're going to think that that is going to last throughout your entire process, and it's not going to. A lot of it is fluid. You know, when you have surgery, your body is just dropping fluid big time. And so, you know, really that's what a lot of the weight loss is. You're still losing fat, that's still part of it, but most of it is fluid. And then you get to a point where you become a little constipated, you become a little dehydrated, and so I'm trying to drink more and more water to help my body so I'm not as constipated, but I'm still constipated. So that's going to be part of it too. There's a lot of backed up food in there, and so I'm taking something right now to try to, you know, get that moving again. So fluid loss, dehydration, constipation, you're just going to deal with all of that. And so your body is still healing, your body's still trying to figure things out. As you move from stage to stage, you're going to have a slowdown just for a little bit. It's going to bog your system down, but you'll get back into the swing of things. You're going to continue losing weight. And so I'm happy to report that I just did some research. I'm not as frustrated. And maybe on Fridays I'm going to start doing weigh-ins. Not tomorrow, but next Friday I'm going to do a weigh-in. I might film it and just make it a regular Friday thing where I film my weigh-ins and see how I'm doing. But today I just wanted to talk a little bit more about how I got to be 600 pounds. And you know what? I'm disgusted with myself about how I used to eat, and so I'm being a little bit vulnerable here, and I hope that you don't think less of me, because a lot of you don't see how I eat. Some of you do, some of you have, you know, if you've been really close to me, you've seen me eat, you've seen how much that I ate in the past, but, you know, I think it's important to reflect back so you don't, make those same mistakes again. And really a lot of it was connected to fast food, because when somebody makes food for me or something like that, like if my mom cooks or my sister cooks, it's not these huge portions. So it's times when I leaned on fast food to sort of fill me up, not just in the physical sense, but in the maybe even spiritual sense or in the mental sense. Like when my dad died, that's when I gained the bulk of my weight, and so a lot of my eating was comfort eating because I was trying to fill this hole that was in my heart, and it was very difficult for me. And food sort of did the trick. I felt a little comfort from it, and then it's like any addiction. It's like if you snort some cocaine, or you know, you do any kind of drugs, or you do something you get a little pleasure from, it's like, okay, that's lighting up the pleasure centers in my brain. And so what it wants to do is, you know, once that comfort, once that little bit of pleasure, once that serotonin leaves, you're going to want it again. You're going to want the next hit. And that's how addiction works. And food addiction is no different than drug addiction or any other kind of addiction. It's I got used to relying on the food to give me a boost of serotonin or whatever, dopamine, whatever the pleasure parts of my brain are. And so that's how it works. It wasn't about the food. It was what the food gave me. And as you get bigger and bigger, your body needs more calories to sustain itself. So if you start eating a lot of food, it's very easy to continue that process of eating a lot of food, because your body gets hungry if it doesn't sustain a certain caloric level. So for example, if you start eating 3,000 calories a day and you gain that weight, your body is going to expect that you're going to continue eating 3,000 calories a day, and then you start eating more and more food, and if you don't reach that 3,000 calories, your body is going to like pretty much act like it's starving, like I'm not getting what I need. You're a bigger person, you need more calories, and so you eat more food, and then before you know it, it's 4,000 calories, then 5,000 calories, and 6,000 calories, and it's an evolving process to where you don't even realize it's happening half the time. I mean, when you're gaining weight, if you gain 10 pounds, maybe over the holidays or something, you don't really realize you're doing it until you step on the scale. And then 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 40 pounds. I've gained 100 pounds before without realizing, and then I go back to the doctor's office, or, you know, when I tried to get back on doing the bariatric program, I realized I gained over 100 pounds during the COVID season. You know, when COVID hit, I was in the bariatric program, but everything shut down, so I didn't have that accountability or help anymore. And then there was a time when they were running out of food in the store, so we kind of started going and ordering McDonald's on DoorDash. Like, DoorDash is evil to me now, because it's like, it takes having to go to the restaurant or going to the drive-thru and getting what you want, and now you can just get it to your house. Like, they can deliver it, and it costs so much more money to do it that way, but it was something that got me through COVID. There's a lot of stress, there was a lot of losing jobs, there was a lot of worry, and then when food started running out and toilet paper started running out, it's like, okay, well, the only thing open is McDonald's or Burger King or something like that, so we would order and order and order, and that just kind of got me back into my old eating habits. And I was like, wow, this is giving me a pleasure. This is giving me a rush of dopamine in my brain. And so that's just how it continued on. And that's how we got through COVID. And, you know, a year later, I go back, I get back in the bariatric program, and I've gained over 120 pounds. And it just happened that quickly. Like, it was bam, you know? So you don't realize it's happening. But how I gained a lot of my weight was after my dad died. And to tell you what a normal day was like, again, this is disgusting. Like, I don't even want to share it, because I don't want anybody to think less of me. But my big go-to in the morning was McDonald's, because I love McDonald's breakfast. In particular, I don't know if they have it in your state, but a steak, egg, and cheese bagel was my absolute favorite. And so I'd go to McDonald's first thing when I wake up. I'd be hungry. I'd go to McDonald's. I'd get a steak, egg, and cheese bagel. I'd get a couple hash browns. But that usually wouldn't be what filled me up. That'd be a normal breakfast, but that wouldn't be what filled me up. So I'd also get a sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffin or a biscuit, stuff like that. So that's really where it started to take a downturn for me, is it wasn't just a normal meal, which would be fattening enough already. I would get extra things to go along with it. So I'd get my steak, egg, and cheese bagel, which is over 700-800 calories, with a couple hash browns, which probably another 200-300 calories there. That should be enough calories for the whole day. But that was just breakfast. And then I'd get an extra biscuit or an extra McMuffin, or sometimes I'd get two of those extras. And I'd take that home, I'd scarf it down, and within a few hours to, you know, usually lunchtime, I'd be hungry again. So it'd be time to go to another fast food restaurant, and maybe it'd be Burger King or something else. I'd get a double Whopper with bacon and cheese, which tons of calories and fat, and I can't even think about it now. It's so disgusting. So I'd get that. I'd get a large fry. Something else I'd get would be a 9-piece nugget. If I went to Burger King, they have good nuggets there, or chicken fries, which I like. If I went to McDonald's for lunch, I would definitely get a double quarter pounder with cheese, a 20-piece nugget, a large fry, a large drink. You know, drinking your calories is horrible, but I'd go through 1 or 2 liters a day just drinking Coke or Sprite or root beer. Root beer was my favorite, so a lot of root beer, which is very high in sugar. So, you know, a couple 2 liters per day. But yeah, for lunch, I'd always get extra, because sometimes my thought is, I'm so hungry right now, I'm going to get something that I'm going to eat on the way home. So if I got extra nuggets, those nuggets were to hold me over till I got home, and then I'd eat my meal. And then dinner, I'd often order a pizza. I wouldn't always eat the whole pizza. Maybe half of it or 3/4 of it would fill me up, and then by the next day I'd have some leftover pizza, and so that I kind of munch on that for a snack. And so that was kind of what I would eat. I wasn't much of a snacker in between meals, but that's pretty much what I would eat. And we're talking probably 5, 6, 7 to 10,000 calories per day that I was eating. There's times where I go over to my friend Steve's house and we would get Chinese food, and you know, he'd often tell me, like, man, you know, my order's $14, but when you come over, the order's like $50, because it's not just a dinner. I'd often get sweet and sour chicken, and that's a quart of it. It's like this big, like a quart of sweet and sour chicken, all for me. A quart of rice. I'd order an extra quart of fried rice because I love fried rice. So an extra quart of fried rice, 2 or 3, sometimes 4 egg rolls. And that's a huge amount of food that would just be for me. And it would be very expensive. So this was a time when I had a lot of money, and a lot of it went towards my addiction. And so that's sort of a glimpse into what I would eat on a daily basis, or if I went out with friends. I told you before, one time, you know, I went out with a girl, the only girlfriend I ever had at the time, and, you know, she ordered a salad, and I ordered we went to Red Lobster, and they have like a seafood platter there, every fried food you can think of piled high on a plate, and that's what I ate. It's ridiculous to me now. I look back on it, I feel so bad, and I don't like how I was, that I just was so depressed. I was in so much pain that food was the only thing that I can turn to. But it wasn't the only thing, because back then I also had an addiction to painkillers. Vicodin, it got to a point where I was taking 6 Vicodins at one time, because I got so used to it. I blew my knee out, so I started, you know, taking Vicodin. I'd take 1 a day, and then before I knew it, I was taking 2 a day. And so that's how addictive behavior starts, is, you know, your body adjusts to what you're doing. Like if I'm eating a ton of food one day, it sort of adjusts to that. And so suddenly that's not enough. And then you need a little more, because, you know, it's just your body just adjusts to it, and you get used to it, and it becomes where it's not enough anymore. And so to keep up that same high, your body gets used to the amount of dopamine, and it's like, okay, well, what else? I'm used to this now. This is nothing. I need another extra hit. So you eat more food, you take another Vicodin pill, you do whatever you can to keep that high going. And so and maybe a week later, you're eating a little more food, you take another Vicodin pill. It's, you know, before I knew it, I was taking 3 Vicodin pills and 4 Vicodin pills in a day. At the same time, it's not like throughout the day, but I would need to take 4 to 6 Vicodin pills at a single time just to get that same high. And so, you know, you get to a point where you're just chasing that high, because you're just so down, you're so depressed, even suicidal. I tried antidepressants, and it made me suicidal at one point. And this was just the worst period of my life that I could just talk about. And that's just pretty much it. I'm not going to go into much more than that. I'm just so blessed that I was able to get out of that. Not just with weight loss surgery recently, like in the last maybe 4 or 5 years, I've really come out of that depressive state. I've become much healthier. I've grown up. I've matured a lot in the last few years. I'm more focused on healing and taking care of myself. I did get some therapy, and I worked through a lot of those feelings. And so, you know, anytime something else comes up in the future, I'm not so focused on feeding myself. The only time that I kind of regained that eating habit was during COVID. But yeah, as soon as COVID was over, I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get my weight loss surgery. I'm going to do whatever it takes to reverse all the damage that I did over those years. And so that's where I am now. I'm in a much healthier, happier state. I'm a very happy-go-lucky person. I enjoy living. I enjoy doing things. I'm no longer that person that I was, so that's what's important to me. But anyways, that's my video for today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and again, please don't think less of me for talking about this. I just felt that I needed to make a video on it and just get it out there and be vulnerable and share that part of myself which is no longer a part of myself. But hope you have a great rest of your day, and God bless you.